So how do I know it's recording? Okay, I guess I
It is recording, but I have a little like icon that's
you
blinking.
can see. All right. I
Press in the upper right corner.
upper right
It's
corner.
recording.
Okay, that's good. So ladies and gentlemen, today, first of all, we're going to do frottage. Now, frottage is French for rubbing. And I didn't find out until a couple years ago that actually there is sort of a naughty, you can use your imagination, connotation that some people use with the word, but I've never heard it or seen it in art education circles. So I just continue to call it that. And frottage, because it's a rubbing, follows the same principles of other printmaking techniques. It's just that it's very sort of bare bones. It's a bare bones thing. Now, I gave you all, you might have gotten one big sheet, one little sheet of these texture plates, or you might have gotten two big ones or two little ones, because they're not cheap. They're sold through a company called Royal Co, and they're called Shade Text texture plates. I have that in your lesson plan. But once you buy them, they really last a long time. And you can use them for other things. You can press them into wet clay, for instance, and get texture that way. However, Max Ernst is really the artist that we credit with first using this in fine art, because what he did is he especially used the wood grain of old floorboards and things around his apartment in Paris to just do these rubbings, and then he would use them in collages and paintings and other things. So it's just a very, very bare bones thing that is simple, and because we're using crayons, clean. So we're going to do 3 projects with frottage, and all of them should be fairly simple and hopefully fun. You can use regular printer paper. It's very, very thin. You can see this paper has to be thin because you really want to get the rubbing to go through. If you use a thick construction paper, it's not going to be as gorgeous. So a thinner paper, but you can glue this if you're doing a collage onto thicker paper. So it's not like you're stuck totally with the thin paper. And anytime you want with a thin paper, you can always glue that, not so much with your Elmer's, but with your glue stick. You can always glue it to a heavier sheet of paper. A lot of artists do that. Okay, so the first thing I just want to show you is I got this thank you card. Let's see, is it from anybody here we know? Oh, remember Albana and Patricia? I think a couple of you will, because they took classes from me for a couple of years. This was some kind of holiday gift they gave me or whatever. But I kept it because this is the cheapest thank you card you can ever. Can you see it all that it's raised? Okay, cheap thank you card. Well, here, let's make the thank you card a prettier color. Ready, set. How completely and utterly neat is that? Can you all see that? Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, just want you to see how
That's really cool.
easy it is, and you could do it with other colors and blah 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 blah. Cut it down. Anything that has a texture you can rub, and there you have that. So that's one thing, but there is a method to the madness, which is I like to use big crayons. I do have a couple small crayons here. I can show you what the kids will do. Now, if you look at these plates, one side will give you a better pattern than the other. I'm going to start it with white paper. I'm going to start it up in the corner with a regular size crayon. I'm going to show you what the kids will do. They're going to go like that. You know, it works, but it's a little scrappy. Now let's try the other side and see which side we like the best. Even though I don't really like how the kids do. Okay, I liked this side better. So that's the right side to do it. But if you use a thicker crayon and you use an even, almost a horizontal stroke, it needs to be an even horizontal stroke. You can get a really nice buildup of texture. And there's nothing saying you can't then change color and, you know, overlap, go in from one color to another sort of thing.
Excuse me, Professor.
Go ahead.
Do you recommend that we peel off the label and use the crayon on its side?
Well, yeah, but you can see it's only partly peeled off. You don't really need the whole, you don't have to do it that way. You won't get a good, I don't think you'll get a good point of contact that way. I don't know which side this is best either. I should probably put a dot on which side because I clearly like one side more than another. Let me just sort of show you. Ah, this is the good side, I think, is it? Looks pretty good to me. So you can do things like this where you have it and then you just shift it slightly and then put another color on it. You get this 3D sort of effect because it's increased the width of whatever is underneath it. Let's try this the other way. I just want you to experiment first of all with this and try stuff. See what you find. Oh, this is nice too. And then if you get things you don't really like that, you can. I only gave you two different plates. I'm pretty sure that nobody got 3. If you got 3, that was an accident, and that's a good thing. Because at the very end, I started getting extra students enroll in the class, so I wanted to save things. Anyway, so your first problem is just to please go through and make a bunch of sheets. You can make them in white or colored. They can be all different colors, one on top of another, etc., etc., etc. But you can also use your textures around the house. Grill work on things can be really good. The floor can be really good. Tile in the bathroom can be good, depending. You know, just everything just is dependent. But make it dark enough. Don't be a wallflower. It needs to be bright and equally nice on colored paper. Let's just use some black. You know, you can get some really dramatic things. And, you know, if you only wanted to use a couple colors of paper and a couple of, you could just do a black and white one for all I care. I just want you to kind of get the idea of getting textures on a piece of paper. I would say do 3 or 4 pieces completely, maybe more if you want to. And I wanted to show you, let's just look at, and we didn't try this one yet. I just want to try the oil pastels. These oil pastels, okay, they're going to work, but they're a little mushy. And you'll go through them very, very fast. So I don't know if you want to use oil pastels or not. What will happen will be they'll diminish really quickly, but you could use them if you want to. I also have here this paper from, you know, that lettering book that you got from Crayola that was a gift in that box set. You don't have to use it the way they're giving it to you. You could turn it around. And I had a couple metallic crayons and I wanted to see, even though they're small, if they would look good. Because I think metallic on black paper can be really awesome. So here's, that's sort of the light gold. It's a little bit ho-hum. The copper might be better. Let's see. I think the copper is a little bit better. But you could also try other colors. Let's just see. What would happen if I put a red on here? No, it doesn't show that well. Anyway, just so that you can see that. So first step is get some control over the frottage. Make these sort of very abstracted, completely abstracted pages. Then the next thing is you are going to make a collage. And I don't think I have to go too much into how to do a collage, but I did make your assignment pretty detailed in the homework. So just so you would remember to do 3 of them. But there's an even more detailed one on Blackboard. But I'm going to ask you to do one of 4 themes for this, for a frottage collage, which is an unusual or non-existent flower, a cityscape, a forest, or a pet nobody would want. Okay, so one of those 4 you choose, and then I'm just going to ask you to make a collage. You could collage it on either on the bond paper I gave you, or you could use, if you want, the construction paper, either one. But let's just say I want to start and do a forest. I might do a tree, and then kind of get a branch out. Of course, save these scraps. They're always so gorgeous. You're gonna fall in love with these scraps. They're just fabulous. All right, there's the beginning of a forest, maybe. And I could make kind of a little tree further in the background, maybe. Let's see. And then, of course, I put some leaves or something on here. Well, actually, I could put it up at the top and it could be like that. I would put a million trees in there to make it really look foresty. And then I could just do a whole bunch of shapes. Remember, the paper is the one that does the work, the scissors. But you sort of see where I'm headed here. And don't glue right away, just play. Play, and if you have to actually make papers to fulfill, like, oh, I want, oh, that should be green or whatever, just go ahead and cheat and make more paper. But so I want you to make one collage. Usually for this, you're going to use your glue stick and your trusty phone book paper to glue your shapes on, and that'll be that. So the first thing, and if you wanted to color in the background, fill the whole thing, you can, you don't have to. I'm going to let you decide how to do it. Sometimes, by the way, a negative shape can be lovely and you can use it. Let me just show you this, because it occurs to me that even that could be the beginning of a tree. You know, some kind of crazy branch. Here, wait. Scraps are fabulous, both with fabric, the way Emilio and I were talking about, and also with paper. Yeah, that's I'm not exactly a pack rat, but I really do like art materials, I have to say. Well, I'm not sure this is working 100%, but here, let me cut it off a little more. Something like that could go somewhere. All right, so that's thing number 1. Thing number 2 should be easier. And you can use, again, you're going to use the bond paper. And it's going to be, you could use white or you could use a color. I guess I'll use a color. Sure, it's not the construction paper, because the construction paper will give you a harder time. Okay, and so now for the second thing, I'm going to ask you to first draw in pencil, and then draw in. We're going to cover it in Sharpie. So I'm going to be doing an unusual or a non-existent flower. Or I'm going to start to do it. Yours would be better. I mean, I think you could probably come up with a better idea. Mine, you know, I'm having to do this on the fly, so forgive my lack of imagination. And let's see, we could make some kind of weird leaves of some sort. All right, whatever you decide to do, we can make a forest of that, but this is for demonstration purposes only. Now I'm using a bigger Sharpie than you have, mostly because this way it'll show up really well. And the idea is really only to go over all your lines. So for the second one, you're going to do one of the same 4 things, but not the same thing as the first one. So out of those 4, you're stuck with 2 of them. Choose any 2 you want, but don't do the same one. So if you do a flower for the first one, don't do a flower for the second one. All right, anyway, you get the idea. We're going to just go over your lines in Sharpie. The next thing is, you can see where this is headed, where this is going, is to color it with your textures. And you can use all kinds of different textures, and colors, of course. But, you know, it's just going to be kind of this very unusual textured drawing. And you can change, you can change your color as you go if you want to. That's a little bit on the light side. And you can change your textures, of course. Let's see, we don't want to have we definitely don't want to have a green stem. That's not unusual at all. So we'll make that is a really sad purple. I'm going to cheat and use a cray paw on this. Oh, no, I'm not. Can you see how that doesn't even show up? Okay, let's go back. Let's go. Oh, wait. No, that's the bad purple. Let's see if I can get something better here. That even this is better using a little one. I just want to see something that's going to show the pattern. The pattern is key here. Give me good pattern. Please, please, please. And you can vary it however you want. So the second thing is make a drawing either on white bond paper or one of the colored ones. Sharpie it and then fill it in. Now the third one is very unusual, and I'm not sure I'm 100% ready for it. Hold on, let's see. No, I am ready for it. Okay, so the last one is a shoe rubbing. And I love demonstrating this with kids because their sneakers are so interesting. But when I ask for a kid to take off their shoe, the class always goes like, "Oh, stink you," like that. And I'm like, no, come on. All right. So your shoe will probably not look like my shoe because I should have had a sneaker here, and I don't think I have one in the studio, and I don't want to take any more time up. So your idea is to find a sneaker or shoe you like, make a rubbing of it. it's teaching the principle of printmaking, because you can make as many of these as you want to. That's the whole point of it, is a print is something that is a multiple. So they're getting the concept of it, and it's super easy, super fast, super cheap because it's just crayons and paper. Yeah, you could take and use outtakes from the Xerox room. If they have one of those bins where you recycle paper that people printed the wrong side or too many or that. So this is kind of cheating, because normally what would come up would be something that would really be more like a shoe shape. Let me just make it like it is a shoe shape, even though it's not. And yours will probably be bigger. That is some weird foot. Okay, but just so you get the idea. Then what you're going to do is, after you do just one shoe is enough. I want you to cut it out. And then this is where I'm not going to really show you what to do, because it's really interesting to see what people come up with. I want you to take your shape and turn it into something. And you can use like crayons, colored pencils, crayons, or just other frottage things to turn this into something else. You can collage on it, but this piece has to be in there somewhere. So you can see the shape can kind of give you some ideas. You don't have to use black construction paper. You could put it on any color paper. Construction paper might be a little easier for you to use. And then if you really wanted to, you could, of course, incorporate some of the other pieces in there. But the important thing is that you just show your students that their shoe is something that we can print. Of course, their moms already know that, because if you're a mom, you've had footprints all over your kitchen floor all the time. So that is the demonstration of this. Does anybody have a question on frottage?
Yeah, so that shape, can we draw on it or anything?
Yeah, but don't yeah.
Just don't cover the entire design.
Yeah, like if I were going to make this into
I could put eyes or a mouth or something
yeah,
on there.
yeah. I just want to make sure I see that the basic shape, I wouldn't hide it, and draw on things and just hide it like that. And it's meaningless that way. The point of it is, what would a shape suggest to you? Because what you're trying to do with this, and this is a really quick little project for kids, it doesn't take more than one period, would be you're trying to get them to use their brain to somehow speculate what that could become. And they will not disappoint you if you don't push them too hard. You can't really give them an idea. If you tell them your idea, they're going to be stuck on your idea, which is why I'm not telling you some of the things that other people have done. And I haven't put any samples on the website, because I don't want to get that stuck in your brain. That becomes the elephant in the room. If I tell you, think of any kind of elephant except for a blue one, all you think about is a blue elephant, and it's just human nature. So my goal is always to leave all the channels open for students so that they can really be as creative as possible. So that's that.
Professor, we need to keep the shoe shape intact. We can't cut it up.
I'm not sure. Let's see.
Okay. And then do we have to use just one? Because I know two shoes that have really great soles.
So you can use two.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Oh, yeah. No, you could totally use two. Yeah. No, could you cut it up? I wouldn't rule that out, but I would spend at least 5 minutes thinking first whether you had to, whether there was any way, a way to avoid it. You know, I think rules with art kind of stink. You know, so I don't want to say like, no, you can't cut it up. But you know, if you were doing this with kids, you would, they probably wouldn't ask you, they would just cut it up. And you want to encourage experimentation and creativity. It's so hard for kids today because they're so used to being told exactly what they're supposed to be doing all the time. So the art room is just such a freeing place that way. All right. Any other questions about the frottage collage? Because if not, I'm going to go over the homework for next time.
No, that's good. You can do
Okay,
the
so
homework
I'm
assignment.
just gonna, what I think I'll do is I'll make a little bit of silence so that I'll be able to find this when I'm trimming the video.
This recording will be on YouTube, right? Because
Yes,
I'm gonna go back.
yes,
Okay.
it will. It totally will. Yeah,
Perfect.
I think I'm so thrilled that I've been able to get that channel going because it is
So helpful.
it is very, very, very helpful. I'm sorry I just didn't figure it out sooner. Every week it was so difficult to I would tape it and then Blackboard would take hours of my time and then they would reject it. And I don't even know what the problem was. And I don't want to know what the problem was because I'm not going to deal with Blackboard on that. All right, so for your sketchbook journal, and again, I'm not giving you any examples of this, but you are going to put a secret on a page in your sketchbook journal. You can use more than one page to do this secret. If it takes more than one page, and I don't want to like say too much about it, but we could do something hidden. You could do something along the line of if you saw what the class 131 did with Gladys, you could do something a little bit like that. You could hide something in an envelope or paste something down under a collage or make some kind of cryptic map or whatever you want. But show me where your brain takes you to putting a secret in your sketchbook journal. I think I'm not sure what kind of visual journey this will take you on. Try to make it extraordinary. But I'd say the biggest thing is just mull over it. You know, don't do it too fast. Give yourself some time to just mull over what might be a fun thing. When you do sketchbook journals with kids, which I highly recommend, especially once they're able to do a little bit of writing. So that would be, you know, second grade into third grade and on up. When they can, a sketchbook journal is a go-to place, and they will love the idea of hiding something from grown-ups and keeping something, even if it means they're just pasting all kinds of stuff down over their secret. And I think that it's a sketchbook journal just is a wonderful tool for reinforcing writing, reinforcing ideas, reinforcing visual art. And it's something that I was able to do because I kept getting grants to buy beautiful sketchbooks for my students. So they all had their own and they could always go work on that when they finished their work, or sometimes that would be part of the do now. It would just depend. Okay, any questions about that?
No, thank you.
Okay, so now one